Will India be able to douse the fire of an $5 billion air defense missile deal with Russia? And US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, well, he has touched down in Delhi, and India plans to push ahead with the mega defense deal with Russia despite the threat of US sanctions. And India is likely to point out that US has a law that offers a way out. New Delhi's stance will be made clear as they sit in for a conversation with the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Here's what to expect.
US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo arrived in Delhi last night and will be meeting Prime Minister Modi and Foreign Minister Jaishankar for talks in Delhi today. This is Mr. Pompeo's first meeting since the Modi government's re-election. Now, there are a number of tricky issues between the two countries that are expected to come up in these talks today. Among them are the S-400 Russian missile defense system that India is buying from Moscow. Now, the United States has made it clear that it believes India should not go ahead with this deal. It should look for other alternatives. A US State Department official said as much to reporters just last week. However, India is clear that it's going ahead with this deal. Indian officials, diplomatic sources are telling us that in fact defense ties with Russia cannot be wished away. There's been a long-standing defense relationship with Russia, and this particular deal was negotiated for over a decade. Indian officials in fact are going to stress to the United States that under its own US laws there are provisions that would allow India a sanctions waiver, and this is something that is going to come up between the two countries. The trade spat between India and the US is also expected to be discussed. India has imposed retaliatory tariffs on 28 US products after higher duties were imposed by the US in June earlier this month. In fact, the Trump administration ended trade concessions on $6 billion worth of Indian goods on the 1st of June. That is something that's also expected to be raised in a big way when Prime Minister Modi meets President Trump on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Japan on Friday. And then, of course, there's the issue of Iran-US tensions, which are currently at a high. Indian companies have already stopped oil imports from Iran, but officially no decision on this has been taken yet. Again, India is going to emphasize that it wants the US to explain to India what alternative sources of oil it can really tap into if it doesn't import oil from Iran. So all of these issues are on the table as the two countries come face to face today in what is still largely a strong relationship, but one that is also at a crossroads because of some of these tricky issues.